Let's take a look at the demand curve here. We're going to graph our own demand curve for a particular product. Let's say we want to buy some blueberries in the grocery store. And if we notice that the blueberries are expensive, let's say $5, then of course that's a lot of money, so we don't want to buy too many blueberries if we want to buy any blueberries at all. Let's say we do want to buy some blueberries, but at $5 we might only want to buy 1 pint. That's all we have money for. So on the vertical axis at the 5, we want to buy 1 pint of blueberries. So this point here connects that $5 on the vertical axis with the 1 on the horizontal axis. So that's one of our points. So let's call that point, let's call it point E, for example. We can give it any kind of name. Now let's say that during another week or another month, the blueberries have gotten cheaper, and they're only costing $4. Now how many pints do we buy? Well, $4 is not as expensive as $5, so we can afford to buy more blueberries. And let's say that at $4 we want to buy 2 pints of blueberries. So now we have, at this point here, let's call it point F, we have another point on our demand curve for blueberries. Well, we can do the same thing if the price were $3, and maybe at $3 we want to buy 3 pints of blueberries. So there's another point on our demand curve. We'll call it point G. And let's do one more point at $2. So there's on the vertical axis, the price axis, $2. We connect with the quantity of 4 on the quantity axis, and we'll call that point H. So now we have 4 points on our individual demand curve for purchasing blueberries. We can graph more points, of course. We can graph points for $2.50 or $3.50 or $3.99 or whatever. But let's just stick with these 4 points. And let's say based on these 4 points, we can graph the demand curve that looks something like that. So we'll call this our demand curve for blueberries. As you can see, our demand curve here is downward sloping. It slopes from the upper left to the bottom right. And this is the demand curve for one individual person. If you wanted to graph a market demand curve, in other words, a demand curve for all the people that are buying blueberries in this market during one particular week, for example, then all you'd have to do is just add up everyone's quantity at the bottom. So for this particular person, this person is buying 1 pint at $5 and 2 at $4 and so forth. You would do that for person 2. That person might have a different demand schedule, maybe buying 2 pints at $5 and so forth. So for, let's say if there's 1,000 buyers, you would add up everyone's quantity, and then those quantities at the bottom would be thousands instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But it would also be a downward sloping demand curve, and it would pretty much look exactly like the individual demand curve.